Welcome back, everyone. We're here with Marla Cooper-Ryder, the media director over at RDW Group, right around the corner from here.
Yes.
In Providence. Thank you so much, Marla, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we are approaching Super Bowl, and we talked to a really cute guest up front about the sea lions, so you got to be better than that. But I think
that's going to be a tough act to follow, as will the tooth.
Than and a giant tooth. So I mean, you've got some big shoes to fill. But we've got Super Bowl Sunday coming up, obviously this Sunday, and a lot of people tune in for the commercials. You know, it's a big pull. It's the biggest advertising day of the year, some would say. So I wanted to have you on to talk with us a little bit about what we can expect to see this year from some of the big advertisers and some of the trends in that space. So first of all, give our viewers an idea of your background and what you do over at RDW.
So I'm the media director at RDW, and what that means is I understand how to reach people, how to reach target audiences, what platforms to use, and then I get to spend the budget or allocate the budget. So when there's a $5 million Super Bowl spot, that's what I get to negotiate and work on.
Awesome. Yeah, $5 million for 30 seconds is sort of an anomaly because that's not something you see.
It's the highest. It's the highest cost program of the year. It's also the most watched, over 100 million viewers last year.
Yeah.
So they anticipate the same this year.
Yeah.
Costs are about the same as last year, and just keep in mind that that's for a 30-second spot. Some advertisers run 60 or 90-second spots, so double and triple that cost.
Yeah, they're going crazy with it. So it is an anomaly, I mean, because obviously traditional, the way people are absorbing media is changing with Netflix and with Hulu and with all the other ways people are absorbing their media on a daily basis, but the Super Bowl is sort of the outlier to that because people will tune in for that, especially this lineup, LA, New England, you know, you've got both sides of the spectrum. So
you have two big media markets, so there'll be a lot of viewership.
Huge, huge. And so talk to me about the big players this year. Who do we see spending money? Who do we see coming back in the space that maybe hasn't been around for a little while?
So the car companies, almost all of them are in. Either they haven't been in recently or, you know, are coming back in. Mercedes, Audi, Kia, Hyundai. The beer companies, Anheuser-Busch, will have a lot of different brands. I've read that the Clydesdales will be coming back for Budweiser this year.
Okay.
Technology, Google will be in. Amazon will be in with both original programming and Alexa.
Okay.
I see a lot of celebrities in a lot of spots, so you have a lot of different people coming in. So I'm feeling like there might be a lot of humor coming up in this year's Super Bowl commercials, which we could all use.
Yeah, of course, of course. And so a lot of people are releasing the Super Bowl ads before the Super Bowl. It's sort of like, I didn't really think that was something that sort of happened over the past few years. Why do you think that is? I don't want to put you on the spot, but you know, is there a reason that they're releasing them now rather than just premiering them on Sunday?
Well, it's taking advantage of people that maybe weren't going to tune in that may want to tune in. It's more awareness, more impressions. Ultimately, you don't want to just run one spot. You want to capture as many people as possible multiple times. So it gives you an opportunity to sort of preview and maybe tease something. A lot of people tease a spot and then they show the action, like the conclusion to the teaser in the game. So it's just a great way to continue to get impressions and to continue to make the most for that expenditure, because there's also a great expense in producing the spots.
Yes.
So $5 million just buys you the spot. You also have to produce the spot, and that's what the creative teams do, and that can be many millions of dollars as well. So you want to get the most bang for your buck in both senses.
Do you find that, you know, this time of year is sort of like the kickoff for advertising for a lot of companies? Are they using this spot because they're spending all this money and all this time? Are they continuing to run the same spot? Is it just for Super Bowl and then they're kind of theming out other things? Or, I mean, how do you see that
Well, you hit it on the head. A lot of people debut something now, and then they will run it over the course of the next few months.
Okay. And, you know, different variations of it, you know, something along the lines of that theme.
Right. Or they air the 60 in the Super Bowl, the 60-second spot in the Super Bowl, and then they will air a 30 over the course of time just to keep the awareness up.
Okay. And speaking of themes, you know, we talked about it's a $5 million investment for 30 seconds. I mean, so you'd think that people want to stay in a certain lane of political correctness because you don't, with that money that you're spending, you don't really want to tick off any of your viewers. Or maybe you do. Yeah. So you said you think people are going to kind of err on the side of more humorous and...
That's what the sense is that I get from what I'm reading and from debuting some of the spots that are already there. Some people are not debuting ahead of time. Google has been tight-lipped about what they're doing. Other advertisers are just being tight-lipped and really just want all the focus there. Those may have some controversy, or there may be a celebrity that we're trying to keep under wraps.
And you said that there's actually a Boston-based company that's doing a national buy. So tell me about that.
Yes, I believe there's a couple of new advertisers this year. Simply Safe is one of them, and I believe they're a New England-based company. I think they're a Boston-based company, and they have a national spot. Another new one this year is Bumble, the dating app Bumble.
Oh, Bumble,
And Serena Williams will be starring in that spot.
Is she single?
There are a couple of... No, she is not.
I thought she was married.
She is, well, I know she's...
Did she meet him on Bumble?
Yeah, she's married. Maybe
she met him on Bumble, yeah.
But so a few new advertisers and a few that have not been around in a while. I think a big one is Burger King that has not been on the Super Bowl for 13 years. So they're coming back in and I think talking about Whoppers, which why would you not talk about Whoppers?
Why would you not? I mean, why would you not talk about Whoppers? And, you know, how did it get this big? I mean, how did the Super Bowl become, like, the advertising mecca? Is it really that effective? I mean, are people...
It is that effective. And I believe that the preponderance of Super Bowl spots really came about 25 years ago. Debuted with Apple Computer, was one of the first advertisers in their 1984 spot. And so I think that it's one place with a captive audience and the greatest number of people. So that just became what advertisers strive to. I've been doing this for a long time, and so many of my clients, that was what they wanted to do. They just wanted to have a Super Bowl spot because there's cachet involved. You also get a lot of you were in the Super Bowl, and you also got a ton of viewers over a short period of time.
And you know, you are in the media buying space predominantly, and so talk to me about outside of the Super Bowl. I mean, what are the trends that you're seeing? Are you seeing companies kind of stick to a traditional media buy as the same that you would have seen 10 years ago, or are companies kind of shifting and kind of changing with the times? Or I mean, what's a typical spend for you now?
Well, unfortunately, spending doesn't always increase, but the amount of places that we need to reach people has exponentially increased. So there's a little bit more fragmentation. I'm feeling like there are people going back to not going back to, but reconsidering some of the more traditional advertising outlets like broadcast TV, like traditional TV, like traditional radio, like print, because of so many privacy issues with digital advertising.
That's true, yeah.
So there's a little bit, I think, of a reconsideration of some of the more traditional platforms.
And one of your clients, the Department of Transportation, is doing a local spot.
We did not, just so you all know, we did not spend $5 million on this spot because we're only buying Rhode Island.
Taxpayers' money.
Taxpayers' money. It's nowhere near $5 million.
We're not breaking that story, yeah.
But it's a continuation of a campaign for the ripple effect and the impaired driving and drunk driving.
And we've had Dante in a few times to talk about the ripple effect.
And Dante's the creative director on
this. Yes, it's a great segment. Where can people check that out? I think it's on your website, correct? Or
it's on rippleeffectri.com. They can go check it out there and see all of the spots.
It's really great.
There are 10 or 15 spots, and you'll have to tune into the Super Bowl to see which one we are airing.
Okay. So you're going to
select. May or may not have seen before.
So it may be a new one.
It may be, but it may not be.
All right. So who are you rooting for this year?
Well, I'm a Patriots fan, but I'm also a California girl, so it's a little bit tough, but I've lived in New England for 15 years now, so I'm a Patriots fan. It is Patriots all the way. And
do you have like a favorite advertiser that you like to see for the Super Bowl? I mean, I know a lot of people want to see Doritos. They want to see Budweiser. I mean, who's your favorite?
You know, I like to see all of them. They all bring such new, fun, interesting ideas, and so I am so agnostic when it comes to that. I just like to see good advertising, and I think that, you know, good is hard and good is subjective. It's creative. And so I just want to see good stuff out there.
And then you get the local, like, personal injury lawyer thrown in.
You do.
To all these really good
you do get a little bit of that.
How did this get
and that's where the DOT will be in that local break.
That's okay. That makes a little more sense.
So there's good stuff in the local breaks,
too. It makes a little more sense to capitalize on. Don't drink and drive after your Super Bowl party.
Correct.
Yeah, because people get rowdy on the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Everybody, I mean, I know you're out there. Don't do it. Watch the DOT commercial.
Call an Uber. Call a friend.
Oh my gosh. Well, Marla, thanks so much for coming on to chat with us. We hope everybody tunes in for the Super Bowl Sunday, and let us know what your favorite ads are. I mean, I know I watch it maybe half and half for the Super Bowl, half for the ads.
Absolutely, most people do.
For that.
I don't leave the room.
Yeah.
I stay on the couch for the commercials
and
the game.
You'll leave while the game's on to go to the bathroom.
Exactly.
To not miss the ads.
That's exactly right.
And I won't watch any of the ones ahead of time because I don't want to know. I don't want to spoil it. So
That's good.
we'll see what's coming on. Thank you so much for joining
Thanks,
us
Chelsea.
today from RDW Group. And for those who haven't seen The Ripple Effect, I'm glad we got to chat about that quickly. You should take a look at it. It's a really awesome series that you guys did with the Department of Transportation. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks,
We
Chelsea.
appreciate you giving us some insight into Super Bowl ads this year. We'll be right back with our last guest, who's actually down in Atlanta. We're going to chat with her about the hype down there right now, the environment. I heard it's like 55 degrees down there today, so I'm kind of living vicariously through her. So we'll be back in just a couple minutes to chat with her and wrap up our show. Don't go anywhere.